The school cafeteria smelled like glue sticks and juice boxes. Mothers whispered over clipboards. Someone was refilling coffee from a thermos shaped like a football. Paper decorations hung limp from the ceiling. Chairs scraped. Children ran in and out, their backpacks slapping against their sides like warning bells. Marie shifted her weight, eyeing the door. She had come straight from work. Her blouse was wrinkled, her heels pinched. She didn't know where to stand. Every group already had its circle, and no one looked up. At the front of the room, a slim woman in a white sweater clapped once, just once, and the noise dialed down like magic. That was her first real glimpse of Janine. Toned arms, perfect teeth, voice like she sold real estate for fun. She smiled too big, too bright, like the lights were always on behind her eyes. "Okay, moms and dads," said Janine. "Let's get to the fun part. Sign-ups." A clipboard came down Marie's row. She glanced at the paper. Book fair, snack table, setup crew, cleanup crew, donation handling, raffle tracking. One box next to each. Marie reached for the pen. Her fingers ached from calculator work. She checked the box beside raffle tracking. It sounded quiet, contained, harmless. She didn't notice the name at the top of the list until much later. The meeting wasn't in a classroom. It was in Janine's living room. Marie realized this the moment she stepped inside and was offered lemon water in a glass that weighed more than her phone. The furniture was pale beige. The carpet looked unwalked. On the wall, a wooden sign in cursive read, "Gratitude lives here." 6 women were already seated. Laptops open, pens poised, coordinated sweaters. Janine sat on a velvet ottoman like it was a throne. "Welcome, Marie," she beamed. "So glad you signed up for raffle tracking. It's one of our most sensitive tasks." Marie smiled, unsure whether to sit it or salute. Robin, Janine's shadow in yoga pants, barely looked up. "We just started discussing donation categories: corporate, parent-based, third-party." Marie blinked. Janine leaned forward, hands folded. "Every dollar must be logged, you know. We take transparency very seriously." That was the first moment Marie felt off. Not just organized, not just controlling. Performative. She sat, listened, took notes. Watched as the same 3 voices bounced decisions between them. One woman suggested lowering ticket prices for families on aid. Silence followed. Then a smile from Janine that said, "How sweet. Never bring that up again." And when Marie offered to build a shared spreadsheet to track entries, Robin said, "We already have a system." Her voice was silk over a razor. And Marie nodded, even though the word "why" throbbed behind her tongue. When the meeting ended, she stepped outside into the crisp fall air, paper schedule in hand. At the bottom, written in neat handwriting, "Finance-led, Robin Ellsworth, event chair, Janine Foster." And next to her own name, freshly added, "Support role, raffle monitoring, reporting to Robin." So much for harmless. The next meeting was at the school, in room 6B, art room by day, committee war room by evening. The air smelled like glue and old paint. Tables were pushed into a square. Someone had brought cookies. No one touched them. Marie sat near the edge, between a mother named Emily, who only spoke to Janine, and a chair with a broken leg. Thomas sat across from her. He was the only man in the room. Flannel shirt, Neat hair, polite smile that didn't touch his eyes. The meeting began like last time. Janine recapped what she called our momentum. Robin handed out a typed agenda. Everyone nodded too quickly. Then Tomas cleared his throat. About the raffle layout, he said. What if we moved the tables outside, under the covered walkways? Mrrr's face. Better crowd flow. Kids wouldn't have to squeeze. A pause? Marie blinked. It was a smart idea. Janine tilted her head. Might rain. Tomas shrugged. Forecast says dry. Janine didn't answer. Robin scribbled something. We'll make a note of it, she said. They moved on. 20 minutes later, Janine stood up. Here's what we'll do. We'll host the raffle booths under the covered walkways. It'll help with flow and give us more visibility. Marie's eyes narrowed. No credit. No glance at Thomas. Nothing. He didn't react. Just tapped his pen once on the table, then wrote something down. Marie wrote too. But not raffle notes. Just one sentence. Someone's keeping score. But not out loud. The email came at 9:42 p.m. Subject, bait. Sale supply reimbursements from Robin Ellsworth. To volunteer list. Marie clicked it open while folding laundry. Her son Sam slept in the next room, soft breathing mixing with the hum of the dryer. Robin's tone was, as always, polite to the edge of threat. Please submit your receipts no later than Thursday. Reimbursements will be processed by end of month. Reminder, all items must have been pre-approved via spreadsheet. Marie frowned. She had baked 24 oatmeal cookies for the bake sale, bought the ingredients herself. No one asked. No one approved. She just did it. She opened the spreadsheet. It was locked. View only. In the pre-approved list column, she saw Robin chocolate cupcakes, $47.80. Janine. Sugar cookies decorations, $63.25. Emily. Brownies, $38.10. There was no oatmeal anything. And none of these people had brought anything. Marie remembered that clearly. The table at the event had been filled with anonymous paper plates, mostly from regular parents. She clicked again. Scrolled down. At the bottom, in gray italics, receipts for personal effort are not reimbursable unless previously approved. Marie sat back, then stood, walked to her kitchen, and opened the trash. There, right on top, the empty plastic container that had once held her cookies. She pulled it out, wiped her fingers on a dish towel, and placed it gently on the counter. Evidence. Of what? She wasn't entirely sure yet. But something didn't smell like sugar. Marie wasn't supposed to be there. She had come to drop off Sam's math folder, which he forgot in the rush to leave for soccer. The hallway was half lit, quiet. Most classrooms were locked. She found the door to the teacher's lounge open. Just enough. Inside, voices. She's the one who keeps asking about spreadsheets, right? Uh-huh. Janine said she used store-bought cookies and passed them off as homemade. Oof. Typical accountant energy. You give them a clipboard, they start an audit. Laughter. Marie froze, folder in hand. She didn't recognize all the voices. But one was Robin, and the other sounded suspiciously like Emily. Marie turned to leave. Then she heard another voice, quieter. That's not fair. She actually helped at the table. I saw her. Silence. Then someone cleared their throat. And someone else muttered, "Well, Janine knows best." The door creaked as it opened wider. Marie stepped back. Standing in the doorway, half-shadowed, was Miss Page. She looked surprised, then not. They stared at each other for a long second. Marie opened her mouth, closed it. Miss Page didn't speak. She just nodded. Barely. Like someone saying, "Yes, I heard it too." It started with a typo. Marie was reviewing the volunteer email thread at home, hunting for the note about booth setup. The messages were long, layered, full of vague phrases like, "as discussed," and "per last week's summary." Then she saw it. One message from Robin included a link. Same spreadsheet name. But this one didn't say locked. It was public. View only, but not protected. Marie clicked. The file loaded slowly. And there it was. The official event budget, or at least a copy. She scrolled. Line after line of amounts. Categories. Names attached to tasks. Supply purchases. Reimbursements. At first it looked fine. Then she saw it. Janine Foster. Line 14. Banner printing. Cupcake stand rental. Balloons $134.90. But Janine had never set foot near the banner table, Murray remembered. The stand was borrowed. The balloons, donated. She kept scrolling. Robin Ellsworth, digital ticketing app, fee $97.50. Except the app they used was free. Marie's jaw tightened. She opened her notes app, started making a list. She wasn't sure what this was yet. But it wasn't nothing. She copied the link. And for a second, just one, she hovered over the share button. Then she closed the tab. Not yet. The diner smelled like burnt toast and floor cleaner. Marie stirred her too-hot coffee. The plastic spoon wilted in the cup. Thomas sat across from her in jeans and a worn hoodie with the local library's logo. He had texted her first. "Nanda, if you really want to understand what you're dealing with, let's talk, not at school." They waited for the waitress to leave before speaking. "I was on the list last year," he said. "Volunteer. Thought I could help. I'm an engineer. Structure matters to me. I proposed a reporting tool. QR code access. Total transparency." Marie nodded. "And?" "A week later, I got a call. Said I was intimidating the committee. My tone was inappropriate." He gave a dry laugh. 2 weeks after that, Janine called a vote, read an anonymous complaint, said I made people uncomfortable, aggressive, dismissive of female input. Marie looked down. "So you left?" I was politely removed. Then a mom told my daughter in the hallway, "Your dad's not very nice, huh?" He stared into his cup. "Since then, I've watched. But you started digging. They won't leave you alone." Marie's voice was low. "I found the spreadsheet. Some strange numbers." He raised an eyebrow. "Then you're already ahead of where I was." Marie took a sip, bitter. Thomas said quietly, "This isn't about cookies. It's about control." The cafeteria was full again. Same folding chairs, same too sweet lemonade, same parents pretending not to look at their phones. Marie sat 2 rows back, notes in her bag, questions in her chest. Janine stood at the front, arms folded with importance. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our midpoint coordination meeting. Let's keep it brief and constructive, Behind her, Robin flipped a slide on the projector. Budget overview, phase 2. It was clean. Polished? Too clean. Marie recognized none of the numbers. Janine's voice poured over the room. We've streamlined our spending, allocated the digital platform fee, and adjusted for extra signage. It's all in your folders. Marie raised her hand. Yes, Marie. I'm sorry, but that signage line? I was at the booth. We didn't have new signs. A beat, Robin blinked. They were ordered, she said quickly, but delayed in shipping. Still billed. Marie felt dozens of eyes. She wasn't ready for what happened next. From the back, a quiet voice cut in. That's not true. Heads turned. Miss Page stepped forward from the wall where she'd been standing the whole time, half in shadow. They weren't ordered. I was supposed to approve the design. No one ever sent it. A silence so deep you could hear someone stirring their cup. Janine opened her mouth, but Miss Page didn't stop. I've been at this school 12 years. Every fall, I watch this dance. The same names, the same whispers, and the same tired lie that it's for the kids. She looked around the room. You all know it? You just don't say it out loud. Then she turned and walked out. The projector screen was still glowing. But now, the room wasn't glowing at all. The fall fair began at 11 o'clock sharp. By 11:04, nothing was ready. Tables were missing labels. One of the tents collapsed. The raffle booth had no cash box. Marie stood behind the folding table, sleeves rolled up, face tight. She had arrived early, set up alone, printed her own signs. No Janine. No Robin. Just a flood of parents with questions she couldn't answer. A woman approached with a $20 bill. 2 raffle sheets, please. Marie smiled tightly and bent down, opening the supply bin. No envelopes. No change. No folder. Just a list in Janine's handwriting. Money in folder. Ask Robin if missing. She stepped back, looked around. Nothing. No Robin. No money. And then she remembered. She had brought her own backup. A clear plastic container from home. She'd filled it that morning with $25 in small bills, just in case, labeled with her initials in Sharpie. She had placed it in her tote bag, on purpose. Marie dropped to her knees, unzipped the bag, dug through. No container. Not under the flyers, not inside the zip pocket, not hidden in the snacks. Gone. She stood slowly, looked out at the chaos. Kids were crowding. Someone spilled juice on the sign-in sheet. Tomas rushed past with a snapped extension cord. Marie pulled out her phone. Texted Robin. Where is the cash box? Nothing. Texted Janine. Funds missing. Need support ASAP. Read? No reply. She gripped the edge of the table. And for the first time since this whole thing started, Marie felt something settle in her chest. Not confusion. Not worry. Rage. Marie wrote the email at 6:12 a.m., before school, before work, before she could talk herself out of it. Subject, formal request. Financial transparency. To Principal Hartley. CC, Volunteer Committee. She kept it simple. Dear Mr. Hartley, after volunteering at Saturday's fair and reviewing public committee documents, I noticed discrepancies in listed reimbursements and missing cash during the raffle event. I respectfully request access to all approved financial reports related to the event, including reimbursement receipts and budget breakdowns. Thank you for your attention. Marie Lawson, Parent Volunteer. She read it 5 times before hitting send. Then she made coffee, got dressed, took Sam to school like any other day. By 9 o'clock, she got a reply. It wasn't from Hartley. It was from Janine. Dear Marie, while we appreciate your time at the event, the tone and content of your message were concerning. Please remember that all volunteers operate in a spirit of trust. If you have concerns, we ask that you bring them up in person, not through accusatory emails. Sincerely, Janine Foster. Volunteer Chair. 5 minutes later came a second reply. From Principal Hartley. Marie opened it, heart thudding. Dear Miss Lawson, thank you for reaching out. While we value every parent's involvement, I would encourage a spirit of collaboration moving forward. I trust the committee to manage its internal affairs. Should you wish to discuss concerns, my door is always open for peaceful resolution. Best. Mr. Hartley. Marie stared at the screen. Twice she read the line, peaceful resolution, and understood. It wasn't just about cookies, or spreadsheets, or even cash. It was about not making noise. Parent pickup looked the same as always. Minivans, lanyards, coffee in reusable cups. Everyone pretending to be relaxed. Marie stood by the tree line, arms crossed, watching the doors. She didn't hear Janine approach, so only noticed her by the shift in energy, like the air pulled tight. Oh, Marie, there you are, Janine said brightly. Marie turned. Janine's smile was toothpaste white. Her sunglasses stayed on. I was hoping we could talk, she continued. Not in a formal setting, just mom to mom. Marie didn't move. Janine stepped closer. You know, it's a little strange to send emails like that. With your tone, your language. Marie raised an eyebrow. What tone? Janine tilted her head. The kind that questions people who do things, people who take on responsibility. Other parents were watching now, not openly, but enough. Janine's voice softened dangerously. You might not know this, Marie, but committees like ours, they remember things, especially during application season. Marie felt it. The shift. Not threat. Not even warning. It was positioning. She smiled back, calm, sharp. And you might not know this, Janine, but people who lie, they slip eventually. Before Janine could answer, the bell rang. Children flooded out of the doors. Parents turned. The moment dissolved like sugar in tea. But Marie knew. She had just declared war. The library was nearly empty. Late afternoon sun slanted through the windows, turning the dust into gold. Tomas had hunched over a Chromebook, Marie beside him, arms crossed, eyes sharp. He clicked again. Here's the thing, he muttered. They're using a shared PayRite account. Public donations go there first, then get moved. Marie leaned closer. To where? He pointed. A personal PayRite wallet, linked to Robin's name. Marie exhaled. And from there? 2 transfers. one into a generic expense log, one labeled re-initials. Tomas tapped the screen. That last transfer matches the amount she listed for cupcake supplies. Marie shook her head. There were no cupcakes. Tomas gave her a look. I know. He opened another tab, pulled up the timestamp from the day of the order. The location ping? A spa. Marie laughed. Just once. Low. Then whispered, We've got her. Not quite. Tomas leaned back. This only proves sloppy bookkeeping. If we want more, we need admin approval to request actual bank data. Marie nodded slowly, then looked down at her phone. She didn't need more time. She needed leverage, and Robin just gave her plenty. Friday morning, the hallway buzzed with the soft tension of drop-off. Parents clustered in doorways. Teachers moved fast, polite. Marie walked in with a manila folder and a calm surgical expression. Her heels tapped sharp on the tile. She didn't go to the office. She went to the cafeteria. Inside, a PTA prep meeting was already in session. Janine at the head of the table. Robin beside her. 3 other moms and 1 staff member laughing over coffee and paper decorations. Marie stopped just inside the door. Morning, she said. They looked up. Surprise, hesitation, calculation. Marie opened the folder. I made a few copies, she said. I thought you might want to read this before we vote on anything else. She handed out pages, printed spreadsheets, transfer records, timestamps, side-by-side comparisons. No commentary, just data. Robin went pale first. Janine held the pages like they were sticky. Marie watched them, then turned to the others. If we're going to do this right, she said softly, we do it in the open. 1. Mom looked at the papers, frowning. Another pulled out her phone. Mari stepped back, left the folder on the table, walked out without a word. Behind her, no one spoke for a long time. Until someone finally said, Is this real? Wednesday, afternoon art class. Miss Page handed out drawing paper and opened a fresh box of crayons. The classroom buzzed not loud, but lively. Windows open, sun warm, paint stains on every table. She clapped her hands once. Okay, friends. Today's theme is a big one. She wrote on the board in neat blue marker. Honesty. Draw what honesty means to you, she said. Or a moment where someone told the truth. Or didn't. Kids began sketching. One drew a dog with a broken vase. Another drew a superhero off his mask. And then there was Elliot, 7 years old, quiet, thin, big eyes. He drew a box with a $sign on it, and a woman with a red ponytail reaching into it. Miss Page passed behind him, paused. What's this? She asked gently. Elliot shrugged. That's the box from the bake sale, he said. Mommy said I can't tell anyone, but she took some for her nails. They were really bad. He looked up, like waiting to be in trouble. Miss Page didn't flinch. She nodded, then said quietly, That's a very honest drawing, Elliot. Thank you. The carpet in Principal Hartley's office was beige, the kind that showed no dirt and invited no opinions. Marie and Tomas sat in stiff chairs. Hartley behind his desk, window blinds half closed, hands folded too neatly. He smiled. I assume this is about the recent tensions? Marie opened the folder. No small talk, no smile. We have proof of misused funds, she said. Documented transactions, fabricated reimbursements, a public incident, and now student reports. Hartley blinked. I see. Tomas leaned forward. No, I don't think you do. We're not asking. We're telling you. Hartley exhaled. Listen, I appreciate your passion, but let's not escalate. This community thrives on balance. Peace. Marie's voice was calm. That's the second time you've used that word. Which? Peace. Hartley paused. Yes, well, you mean silence? Said Tomas. Not peace, not fairness. Silence. Hartley looked at the folder again. Marie placed a second file on the desk. One copy goes to the school board, she said. And if we hear nothing by Friday, the third copy goes to the press. Hartley's jaw clenched. That won't be necessary. Murray stood. Then make sure of it. They left the room like people who were done being polite. Spring came quietly. The courtyard filled with chalk drawings and cautious laughter. Parent emails changed tone. No more at the discretion of the committee. Now it was. Open to all. Janine stepped down. No announcement, no ceremony. Just an email, due to personal reasons. Robin's name never came up again. Marie didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Instead, she joined a new subcommittee. They didn't meet in living rooms. They met in the library. Chairs in a circle, no head of table. Thomas handled logistics. Miss Page brought homemade cookies. And one by one, new parents arrived. Shy at first, then curious, then ready. No whispers, no favorites, no folders that couldn't be opened. On the wall above the table, taped up with blue painter's tape, was the only rule they agreed on. If it can't be explained simply, it shouldn't be done. Marie sat back and smiled. This time, when the volunteer list went around, every box got filled. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where the silence around you was louder than the truth? Share in the comments what you would have done in Marie's place. Your story might become a source of support for someone who's afraid to speak up. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. Sometimes to change something, you don't have to be loud. You just have to be honest. Take care of yourself and of those around you.